Welcome to a brand new episode of the Marketing Business Wealth podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Witnish. Today we deep dive into a marketing strategy for 2023 and what can you do to stay ahead of the pack and dominate your industry heading into a new year. Now, I just had my turn with COVID, so I apologize for the acoustics of my voice at the moment. There's still some residual stuff going on. I had a dream run with it. My symptoms were very tame and mild. The only thing was a bit of coughing and spluttering, which is why we haven't produced an episode for a week or two. But hopefully this will be worthwhile, having waited a few days for another one to come out. So 2023, there's all this new technology. There's things like AI emerging that can intuitively write copy, write posts, do SEO, can generate images and media. There's platforms like the metaverse getting worked on in the background. You've seen some Web 3.0 things circulating over the last 24 months. So the landscape and technology is moving very quickly. And what does this mean from a marketing perspective? And I think at the end of the day, it's important to mention that simple and fundamentals are always going to ring true when it comes to marketing, regardless of which platforms and what strategy you're using. And being visible is strategy number one. Showing up and being able to get some attention is an area where a lot of businesses surprisingly let themselves down. If you don't have visibility and people can't find your brand, your business online, then that's going to work heavily against you when we're looking at a world where people pull out smart devices to make their purchasing decisions. So if you haven't got an online setup, so I'm talking the essentials, a website, with that you might actually have a brand guidelines document where you talk about the fonts, the colors, the images, brands that you respect and want to emulate. So you can use that as a foundation or a system for everything you do with marketing moving forward. And then you want to have your primary social platform set up. So you don't have to be on all of them. It's understanding which platform has the attention of your dream clients and predominantly focusing on that. And that's also, if you're going to implement an advertising campaign or strategy, that's where you would direct those funds and that investment. So it's removing and eliminating where you can. So it's not going, hey, we have to be on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all these different places. It's going, okay, if we were to only be on one, what's going to have the biggest impact for our business? Where are our dream clients spending their time? Where's their attention? Where are we most likely to be able to find them and have them look at our brand and interact and engage with it, and just build everything around there to start with and branch outward. So that's number one. Now, how do you get attention? So the headlines and the visuals and the opening sentences that you use on content, on advertising, are always what make or break the success of a post, of an advertisement. So you're talking about the headlines, and with emails, it's the subject lines. So you need to really think what's going to get the right attention, because you can write a compelling headline that can get everyone's attention because it has curiosity and intrigue. But what if it's getting the wrong people's attention and you're attracting people that are not a great fit for your services and for your brand to your content? Then it can have a negative effect. So it's actually understanding what your dream clients are looking for and searching for online, which is making a list of their primary problems. So if you ask some of your best clients, or you just brainstorm with the team, what are some of the biggest problems that our target clients are experiencing, and what are the outcomes and results they're pursuing? If you have that hot list, then you actually build pillars for generating ad copy, for your website copy, for posting moving forward. And let's talk to the point of website. So hopefully, if you've been in business for a while, you do have this, what I call a digital asset. Now, a lot of people get the website element of their business to a point where it's not that effective. It's almost like an online brochure, and it talks about the business and it talks about what they do. But remember, you've got to put your mindset into a potential customers. Now, when they hit your site, if you're addressing problems that they have and talking to their desires, and you've got some compelling lead magnets or introductory offers, or they can engage and interact with a chat feature, all of a sudden you get a very different result from someone visiting your website than it's, hey, we've been in business for 20 years, which no one ultimately cares too much about at the end of the day. So I would say if you can enhance the functionality of your website and you can make it speak to your dream and target clients, having that asset dialed in properly is going to rapidly increase the inquiries and conversions and opportunities you create in 2023. So you might need to do a makeover there, you might need to do a complete rebuild depending on what you got. But the foundational things I would suggest that you put on your site to turn it into a real asset for your business is, one, have a compelling headline that talks to those dream clients as soon as they hit the site. So it's not about you, it's about a problem that you can solve, or a really compelling introductory offer where they can sample what your business can do for them and some of the solutions that you offer. Then you want to have a button that they can click sitting under that headline, because remember, most people are going to be on phones. So you want to have a headline and a button so they can click and then take some form of action to get that introductory offer that's compelling and irresistible, and a way to sample what's possible with your brand and to build a relationship with them and increase trust deference. So headline, button. The next thing I'd say is having that chat feature. So you can use a plugin like Facebook Chat. There are a lot of Tito is one of the tools we use on Content-Only as a chat feature. Just chat plugins for websites, and that way, no matter where anyone is on your website, they have the ability to ask questions and communicate. Because in a lot of cases, it can be they need one more question answered, one more thing dialed in order to make a decision to move forward. But if they can't find a way to ask their question and express that, then often they move on and never come back. So that chat feature always hovering there enables someone that needs a little bit more information to ask a question and actually engage with your business. And the great thing about that is it's inbound. They're coming to you, you're not pursuing them. So it's a very good sales dynamic from that perspective. So there are 3 things that you can do on your website in 2023 to turn it into an asset that generates more business for you. Compelling headline as soon as people land on the site that talks to their problems, desires, outcomes they want. A button underneath that where they can take an action step to sample your products or services, get an introductory offer, increase trust transference, and then having that live chat feature. So regardless of where they are on their site, they can communicate, get some help and support. So that's how to revolutionize that. The next thing that you're going to want to get, that I mentioned at the start of the episode, was a brand guidelines document. So this will help you systemize and create on-brand content into the future, regardless of who's responsible for that role. So you're talking about your logo, the fonts that you're going to use, the colors that represent your brand, the types of imagery that you want out there. And this is a document that sort of sits there, and whoever's managing your social media content can follow that to make sure that everything that goes out is on brand. And if you reach out to me, I'm happy to send you a template for that. As a part of what we do in our marketing agency, we go ahead and do this for our clients, and we curate and create that brand guidelines document. But if you want to do it from scratch, or you've already got some foundations there, you already know what you like, I'm happy to flick over a template to help you formulate that. And then whoever's responsible can follow those guidelines to produce content moving forward. And the next item that I mentioned at the start was having that foundationary social platform that you want to target in 2023. And that'll be reverse engineering where you would like to get the attention of your dream clients. Which platform are they on? What type of content are they consuming that's going to increase their desire to want to work with you? And also where you can get their attention in a more deliberate and focused way. So if you get those 3 areas dialed in, heading into 2023, you're going to get a lot more success from your content, from your website, and any sort of advertising that you do on those platforms. So again, if we pivot now and go back to those fundamentals, when you're producing content, you want to look at opportunities to batch it wherever you can. So there's 3 different ways that you can make sure you do content consistently, which is going to be a big part of being visible and getting attention in 2023. Now, a lot of businesses may contract. We're looking at the economic climate, increasing interest rates, inflation, cost of living, less disposable income could put less consumers into the marketplace. So some industries will contract. So what you want to do is double down and actually show up more when other people are pulling back, cutting their spending and doing less, because this is an opportunity to really accelerate the growth of your brand and the presence that it has. So you want to start doubling your output. So the best way to do that is to either batch, so dedicate time every month where you sit down and just get all the content done in one session, and then you can schedule it to go out at optimal times with the right hashtags depending on which platform you're on. Number 2 is delegate. So hand it over to a team member that's responsible, and they can use the brand guidelines and talk to some of the things that we're spoken about with the headlines, solving problems, talking about results, outcomes, and desires, social proof, sharing some of the things that you've done for clients, their wins and results, and utilizing that as the framework for the content. Or number 3 is, of course, outsource it and get a third party, an agency like Content-Only or someone to have a look at how they could do that for you and support that process. So they're the three ways that you're going to get on top of content and ensure it gets done for your business. Batching if you're the person that's going to be responsible for that. Delegating if you've got someone in your team in-house that can own that task. And number 3 is outsourcing to a third party. Then you want to set your rhythm. So have clear posting times every single week where the content goes out. So the mornings around 8 a.m. and the evenings around 8 p.m. are good times for content to go out because people are relaxed. They might be on their phone, commuting, taking a look. So there's usually more attention on the platform. So you might say, hey, every Monday at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m., we have a post go out, get fresh on people's minds at the start of the week. Then every Thursday at 8 p.m., we have another post go out just to remind everyone else that we're there, add some value and build a cadence or rhythm like that. And that might be the frequency that you look to deploy in 2023. And then, of course, as I said, follow one of those either batching, delegate, or outsource models to make sure that you hit that frequency every single week and be visible. The other thing that you can do is put your content on steroids. So if you want to get exposure more rapidly, you have the ability to boost posts and to promote them to your target audience. So if you want to get targeted traction and make sure the right people are seeing that, rather than relying on organic reach and followers and interaction, you can hit that boost button, plug in the characteristics of your dream client, set a small budget or a big budget depending on how you want to go about it, and circulate it. So you're building that trust transference, increasing that visibility, having more touch points, getting on their radar, which is essential for condensing the buying timeline with your audience. So again, that's one way to accelerate the success and growth, pick up more followers, more traction, more reach and engagement with your content in 2023. But again, it's all about stripping it back to the basics and having a plan that will work for you. So if we rewind back to what I suggested, it's fixing up those foundational elements and those foundational assets, getting your website right, because you could be doing all this awesome work on the content front, but then people go to your website and you're losing opportunities because it hasn't been set up correctly for conversion. So you get that dialed in. Getting your brand guidelines right, and then having your primary platform, your posting frequency, and having that dialed in so you're consistent the whole way through 2023. And you can always look to what your primary competitors are doing and going, how often are they posting? What are they doing, to get a feel for how you can beat them by simply doing more and having a high level of frequency, adding more value, putting more effort into your content, making it more appealing and visually attractive. So by doing some research and due diligence, you can get a massive edge and dominate the competition by simply outperforming and doing higher output than them. So there's a lot to capture there, and I'll keep it brief because it's all about having those primary takeaways to set yourself up for success. But like I said, in a contractionary period with rising interest rates, a lot of less disposable income, probably less people out there spending money, a lot of businesses in your industry that are competing will start retreating, spending less, putting less effort into marketing. So if you double down, you show up a lot more consistently than you have in 2022 and use some of those strategies that I said to optimize for better performance, you can have a breakout year and really start to take that space and own a higher market share in your industry. And like I said, when everyone else retreats and contracts, it's the best opportunity to expand and do the opposite. Advertising becomes cheaper. If people are posting less, there's fewer competitors in the newsfeed, so you can get more targeted attention. So everything is stacking up in your favor. So if you enjoyed this little conversation around how to set yourself up for marketing success in 2023, make sure you're following the show, because we'll deep dive into lots more that you can do to get an edge and become the destination brand in your industry that doesn't compete on price. People are aspiring to do business with you. If you have any questions, if there's ability to leave in a comment or engage, do that. There's also in the show notes ways to get in touch and ask. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you're following, and we'll be back again with a brand new episode of the Marketing Business Wealth Podcast.